Good morning, class. Welcome to Friday, March 20th. This is the end of our first week in this online environment. And with that in mind, there are a series of announcements and items that I need to bring you up to speed on from this week. If you've been watching, you've no doubt seen some of these things happen in the course, but I want to make sure that you're fully aware of what I've done in the course and what changes have been made so that you can adjust accordingly. So let's start with the midterm exam. First of all, I posted this midterm exam announcement right here. This is the information about how to take the midterm exam without going to the testing center. And since we're no longer meeting face to face and the campus is in the process of basically closing dorms and so forth, I want you to be aware of this. So the policy adjustment that was made with the decision to go online was to utilize the Respondus lockdown browser and monitor. And if you click on this link, it will take you to the Respondus download site right here. You need to download the Respondus lockdown browser on your computer and install it in order to take this exam. So there's a video here that talks about what it is, how it works, and so forth. I'm in Windows using a PC. If you're using a Mac, there's a Mac version available that you can download and install as well. So you need to look at this, make sure your computer meets the minimum requirements, which based on what I've seen, most of yours will. Install the browser, and then you'll be able to take the exam remotely. Now, one of the things about this Respondus browser, when it's a remote application, is that it requires you to allow the Respondus browser to access your webcam and utilize it. It will do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, it wants to verify that you are who you are. At one point in the validation process, when you're getting ready to take the exam, you'll need to present your ID to the webcam so it's visible. Now, I've had one question where a student did not have a Ball State ID. My comment to them was, oh, you can use a state issued ID if you do not have a Ball State ID. However, if you've been on campus and you are a face-to-face student, you should have been issued an ID and have access to that. So I want you to use the Ball State ID. However, if you are a student that signed on to this course as a distance student, an online student, you can actually show that ID to the camera. That's a state-issued ID, and it will be acceptable. Then the camera will be on while you're taking the exam. So while you're taking the exam, you cannot wear hats, hoodies, or sunglasses. Your face needs to be visible to the camera, and you need to be recognizable to the camera. So again, none of these other things that could confuse your identity, I guess, or hide or mask it or whatever. So no hats, sunglasses, or hoodies while taking the exam. For most of you, unless you've received accommodations, you're not allowed to have notes or anything else while you're taking the exam, and the exam will be monitored by the webcam instead of through the testing center personnel. So when you were going to the testing center, there was somebody there who would monitor the exam. Currently, that's not possible, so they're going to monitor it remotely using your webcam. And again, your workspace needs to be clear of any notes or otherwise, unless you have some sort of an accommodation on file with the Office of Disabilities Services. So again, that's the policy for that. Now, your attempt at the exam is monitored, and they will take pictures, video while you're taking the exam, so be aware of that. Now, the conclusion of the exam, originally I set it for a week. I opened the exam on Wednesday, March the 11th, and originally said that the 18th would be the due date, but because of going online and the complication of installing the software, I've extended that due date until Sunday, March the 22nd at 11:59 p.m. So you have until Sunday to take the exam. I would not wait until the last minute, but I would recommend that you go ahead and take care of that now. One other note, if you have any issues connecting with a Respondus lockdown browser, that is, if you're looking at this and you're trying to install it, so if you run into problems installing this, if you have difficulty installing the software, you can go to the Ball State Help Desk here. This website um, is available. You can type in, you can search for the help desk, and then when you do that, when you search for tech support, it'll bring you out to a list of things, and you can choose the help desk here, and you can actually, if you are remote, chat with somebody and report an issue, and they may be able to help you figure out, and very well likely they'll be able to help you figure out if you're having a difficulty with installation for some reason. I don't anticipate that. I haven't had any reports that there was a difficulty so far, except that there may be an occasion where um, you have some software conflicts or something like that on your computer and you need to address. They will be able to help you out with that. So again, the midterm, make sure you get it taken by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Next, this week's content is in this announcement chapter 6 PowerPoint video, and the week's content is chapter 6 material that we're covering related to high cost loans, student loans, and auto loans. And basically, I cover that in a review of the PowerPoint here. Now, when I go through the PowerPoint, I don't go through the entire PowerPoint. I just touch on the things that are important in this chapter and that we need to address. So we don't go through all of the PowerPoint, just the portions that we're covering. If you go to the module, you'll see all sections of the chapter, but in reality, what we're really talking about here in chapter 6 is going to be 6.1, 6.3, and 6.4. These others are not going to be covered in this material. Also for this week, chapter 6 homework, like usual, is going to be due next week, next Tuesday, the 24th at 11:59 p.m., and that's worth the regular 25 points. Now, because we're in an online environment, we're no longer face-to-face, we're not going to have the advantage of using iClickers, and we can't do that. So what I've done is create a Chapter 6 attendance quiz, and basically there's a handful of questions here, 10 questions, and you can take the quiz as often as you like, but it's based on the material in the presentation. You answer 10 multiple choice questions, and earn the 10 points that counts towards your attendance points. So this is going to go into the place where the iClicker points would normally go. So because we're remote, we're online, take this quiz, and the 10 points will be added to what would normally be the iClicker points. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. But in this Chapter 6 attendance quiz, there's no time limit, and you can take the quiz as often as you want. So if you don't get 10 points the first time, you can take it second, third, or fourth time even to get those points. So I hope that's helpful. And again, that is the material for this week, the announcements related to the midterm and Chapter 6. Again, I'll be making these announcement videos every week, and you will see what we have coming up. Typically for this class, I'm going to go ahead and do these either Thursday or Friday. This case, Friday came around, and we're putting it up right now. But next Wednesday, on the 25th, I will have the video for Chapter 7 material available, and you'll be able to see that next week as well. So I hope you're doing well, staying safe, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to help you out. Take care and have a great week.